Are we live?
Not live, but we're rolling.
We're okay.
Roll the footage.
Rolling.
That was my first thought too. I'm like, roll the footage.
Roll the footage.
What is that from?
Buttery breast.
Oh my God!
Oh God, I can't even
Watch 'em every
believe.
day.
Not every day, but I was like, what is that? I couldn't think about it. Or I couldn't think of it.
Roll the footage.
Well, hi guys. It's Pat and Angie Cherubini. We're back again. And we are back with Jason Tomlinson of CrossFit Uprising. And so welcome Jason.
Thank you.
We need the
Thanks.
applause.
Woo! You should know
I don't remember
those.
I
I can't hear it.
Nope.
Nope.
There we go.
My own applause. That's
I love
great.
those buttons. I love them. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to Jason, and even in the future, our other clients. We're talking to clients that are using our system that we have, our marketing system, and that we've done websites for. Basically, got you online, and we're gonna talk to you about using that. And we also want to find out, what got you started in your business, what made you want to do that. And for people that don't know a whole lot about Jason, there's a lot to know about Jason. He's also our friend and he's my coach, but we're not going to get into all the nitty gritty. But what we'll do is we'll definitely link those podcasts that he's been on, because he's been on, 3 now?
Yeah.
3 definitely.
One
2
of them
from
was
Corey G.
4 hours long. So.
Yeah.
2 from Corey G, and then 1 from Savan. And so we'll make sure that those are listed below. And if you listen to any of them, you definitely need to listen to the Savan one. It'll take 3 or 4 hours out of your day.
Yeah. It was,
But
But
you
it's
won't
well
be able to
worth
stop
it.
listening.
we just kept talking.
Yes.
And I kept thinking, man, this is going on forever.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was pretty fun.
So, why don't you get started and tell people, give them an overview of what got you to where you are, and and why you started this.
So about 12, it's going on about 13 years ago. My wife, I wanted something different other than a normal gym. Like I was at the normal gym, just do some bench and some arms. And
Where did you go?
the Vantage Club is where we were at.
We were there
Yeah.
We had to have seen you there.
12 years ago.
Yeah, it was about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Was where we at the Vantage Club. And Carrie had gotten into the gym too, and I kept telling her, like, man, I need something different. Like, I just don't like the same old things we're doing. And she had showed me the L1 book. She's like, hey, maybe you should look at this and check this out.
12 years ago. How'd she find that?
I don't know, honestly. I have no idea. It was online. She tried to show
That
it
was
to me.
probably when Scott Morin was doing it too.
Right.
And I just kind of blew it off. Was like, I didn't dig into it, and she didn't really get into it with me. She just seen it and she gave it to me. Me and another guy and a lady had started a little boot camp thing at the Advantage Club in the gym over on Northtown, and we were running these 1 minute at each station for all these girls and making some extra money and this and that. And I just kept thinking, man, there's something else. Well, one of the girls that was in the boot camp, her husband was a coach at CrossFit, and she brought it up again. And I was like, all right, my wife, now her.
Did you have any idea what it was?
None, zero. Didn't have not one clue what CrossFit was at all. So she started to explain what they do, and she brought up all the typical things people think about. Well, they flip tires and they lift weights and they do all this. Yeah, and they do all this stuff. And I'm like,
which is really fun, by the way.
look, it's the coolest thing in the world when you first get to drop a barbell with weights on it. You're like, boom. You're like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've always told her the women love that. Once she finally did it and started throwing around, and like, this is cool.
Yeah, you're able to drop stuff, right?
Bang and bang, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to dig into it a little more. So Carrie ended up giving me the book again, and I read some on it, and I went over to the local gym and I was like, talked to them,
Which one?
Always Forward.
Oh.
Over in Granville. And I walked in and I was like, all right, this is kind of cool. I kind of like this. And I sat up here and I talked to him and said, all right, well, I'll be back. Come back in December and did one workout. And to this day, and I think if you're really into CrossFit, you'll probably never forget your first workout. It was 3 rounds of run 400 meters, 10 dumbbell shoulder press, and 2 rope climbs. And I was like, I was decent. I was like, all right, I'm not that bad at this. Like, I can go run. The dumbbells are what they are, and I can press those. I've been lifting, and he taught me how to climb a rope, and I climbed the rope right out of the gate.
Did you really?
Yeah. Like, I was surprised. Like, all right. So I'm not bad at this. I said, I'll be back. I finished out our membership for that month, and I went back in January and signed up. And by March, and to this day, I really don't know why. It was just like something I felt inside, because growing up, and I used to be one of those anxiety-ridden people to talk in front of people. Like, I was just
completely understand,
gripped with fear to be able to do it.
But you never know that now.
I know, and that's really weird, right? Like, I look back on it, and I'm like, how was I ever scared to do this? Like, I stand up in front of, 30, 40 people at a shot, and it's like, I feel so comfortable doing it. But I knew I wanted to be a coach. Like, I want to teach this. We were already doing those boot camp classes and stuff.
It happened that fast?
That fast. From January to March.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, the Arnold was going on, and we went to the Arnold, and my L1 was the weekend of the Arnold.
Sweet.
So we went to the Arnold, and at that point, Rich Froning was like, that was the man. That was who's winning it all. It's like, everybody's going to be like Rich.
That's when the boys started in, and it wasn't it?
Probably, yeah, for sure.
So we was over and we met Rich, and I was like really jacked, seeing Dan Bailey. I'm like, all this stuff, I want to go do this CrossFit thing. Did my L1, and I started coaching a little bit at Always Forward. And I don't know, I just thought I wanted more and more and more. And they had kind of closed off my coaching thing as being able to grow, and I just felt like I needed to go somewhere. So I went to another local gym that the guy that owned it said, come on in. I'll let you take over and help me out. And we ended up running it, and
that's where I met you.
Yeah, ended up programming, kind of running the whole shebang for a while, because that was me and Carrie had kind of switched spots. She had gotten her, she'd become an RN, got her job at the hospital, so I was kind of stay at home, take care of Maggie, make sure all that happened, and I started coaching, and I don't know, I just kind of kept going to seminars and learning new things and opening up new doors and being able to do new things, and I ended up leaving there right before, probably, was it a year before COVID happened?
Yeah.
Ended up leaving there and ended up in my training partner in Tim's garage to work on myself.
Yeah.
Like, get away from coaching.
Well, you were trying to go further in CrossFit.
At that point I was trying to, we were building to go to the games. Like, that was the thought. Like, in my age group, I wanted to always just, I wanted to be in the top 200, because at that point in time, you took the top 200 on to the online qualifiers. And at the tail end of the age group, I was like 209 and 210. And there was all these blatant, just at this point, CrossFit has become not recreational anymore to people. It now become a full-time sport.
Professional.
Yeah, it did. People had sponsors and all this stuff. And it was like, all right, so you need to work on these weaknesses you have. And one of them was strength. It was like, all my numbers were great with my engine stuff. And then all of a sudden you get to the strength component and my number just falls off so bad. Yeah. So I started to do that, but to coach and have a family and be able to train to do that, all kinds of things have to give. Something gives. If you try to do, I was always a proponent of don't do 10 things half-assed, do one thing great.
Yeah.
So we had differences at the gym too, and it just worked out that I just quit coaching. I got a full-time job. And we went every night for 2 or 3 hours, and just me and Tim just bashed each other's heads in. Just worked hard.
I've witnessed.
Yeah. Yes. Sat on the side of that.
Yeah. It paid off. It was so grueling, and it was so fun at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like me and him, that we created one special bond, being able to go through the things we've been through.
Yeah.
Going to different events and doing events as a team online, and then like just training day in and day out, to the point at like sometimes during the week we would look at each other and be like, I'm not racing you today. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
And then what happened?
We'd end up racing.
Yeah.
We would.
You guys
Everybody
did.
that knows you knows
You guys
that
pushed
the
each
answer.
other.
Yeah, hard. So I ended up at my highest point of anything. I ended up 36th in the world in the age group.
That's awesome.
And then the very next year we'd pushed a little bit, but not quite as much. Ended up 40th had a major penalty assigned to me through CrossFit on judging. And then
Freaking Hiller.
right?
Well, Hiller wasn't there yet.
Not yet, but
Nobody knows what we're talking
I
about.
know. So somewhere in there, like there was still, at the same time I was still in the garage, we were still beating each other's heads in, me, and like I was still Tim's coach,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like there was still that part of me that's like watching and correcting and seeing and helping him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't qualify for the year we went down that COVID happened. I didn't qualify for Waterpalooza. He did, but I still went as his coach. Like I still went to keep his head on straight,
Which
to
is
be able to work
awesome.
on things. So,
So then from there,
so one day I was sitting at the house and a few things. So I have these weaknesses, right? And one of them is handstand push-ups. And I was like, I kept running into Corey Gregory. I kept running into him. It was just weird that I just kept running into him all the time.
it's meant
And I
to
was
be.
like, I know,
I still
right?
haven't met him yet.
yeah,
I
we haven't.
I run into him,
Corey.
and I run into him one day, and he's like, you know, what are you doing? I told him, and he's like, why don't you just come over to the 4 a.m. Come to the 4 a.m. I'll help you. We'll work on your shoulders. We'll make this will work.
And he knows you're not busy at 4 a.m.
He knows I'm not busy at
4 a.m. crew.
You
Right.
can't say no.
They can't say no. That 4 a.m. crew is ridiculously awesome. So
Old school, right?
yeah, just nuts, man. That old school gym over there with them guys is wild. So I go over and I'm working out and we're working on shoulders. And one day Corey goes, hey, why don't you would you sit down with me and tell me your story? And I was like, yeah, I got no problem with that. Some time went by and I'm like, so when you want to do this? I'm like, I come over and sit down. And he looked at me and he goes, why don't you do it on a podcast?
Was he not did he even have a clue?
He had some of the story.
Okay.
A little bit of it, like through a mutual friend that we have, a guy that had gotten me into running a long time ago. He had some of the story, but like just putting it all together in one setting, he never had. So I was like, I just thought about it. And I'm like, huh? Like that's
Well,
weird.
for the people that don't know, give me 3 bullet points of what the story is. Keep it short.
So, I was young and dumb. I committed some crimes and ended up in prison.
For how long?
20, actually it was 35 with 10 suspended. So, I had done 8 years, 3 months.
So that's the story.
Yeah.
Long time ago?
A long time ago. I got out. I was out in 2002. So, and I was sentenced in 1996. And I have not been in trouble since. So,
Yep.
So
you hadn't told that story much.
No, I hadn't. Like, it wasn't like you tell it to close friends.
Right.
Like,
You know.
I don't know. It was always really weird. Like, you were always safe about who you told it to.
Right.
Because you meet the people and you're like, hey, man, we're like, people accept you for who you are right now, right? Like, when you tell people the story, nobody looks at you as like the guy that carried a gun and
Right.
held people in their house hostage. Nobody looked at you like that.
Mm-hmm.
They looked at you as Jason, like
Right.
in 2000 and whatever. So you were really careful about later on about who you said things to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that part of that is my fault. Like, assuming that you're going to look differently at me when I do tell that story, right?
Right.
Not
And
thinking
it probably
that,
did happen.
oh yeah, I've had it happen for sure.
And I could see keeping that close to the
Yeah.
vest. And it's ancient history, but it's part of you.
Yes. It's something I can't hide, right? Someone has to go search my name. It's out there somewhere.
Well, there's a lot of hours of podcasts now.
I've done it myself. So I told him, yeah. I told him, yeah, I'd sit down and do it. So we sit down and done a podcast. And I told my story. It wasn't the full length one. It was a couple hours of talking and him asking questions and, me leading him through a little bit of my childhood, abusive family, to getting in, living on the streets, to getting in trouble, to getting out, to where I was at now, having a wife and a kid, and
starting a business,
and starting a business. Right. So I was sitting at that. Everybody there kept saying, "Man, you should write a book. Like, you should just write a book. Like, this is amazing. Like,
yeah, you still should.
I know.
There's going to be a movie
sometime, right? So, like, you need to do this." And I kept trying to write, like, and there's different ways to do it. So I'd sit down and I'd mark things. And we were working with a friend, and she had a book, so she was trying to get me in line to do it. I was sitting at the house one day rereading all my stuff on the computer. What I had written, and I was like, man, I'm such a boring writer. Like, I don't know how to write and invoke emotion out of it. Like, maybe that's just me reading my own story is like not evoking emotion in me because I don't, like, I know the story. Mm-hmm. Or am I really just a boring writer?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say something right now. I know, we'll get back into the business.
Yes.
Corey Gregory helped you.
Yes.
So he's technically a partner.
Yeah.
Corey Gregory just wrote another book.
I know.
Did you watch the video?
No, not yet.
Oh, we did.
Corey, shout out to Corey. He put it on audio and had somebody help him write it. And I'm requesting that you do the same thing. He's already got it on tape. Take that Savon and have him put it on paper.
So that's what he told me to ultimately do.
Absolutely.
Take all the podcast stuff.
Because he's got a writer.
And have it dictated for you. You already told it.
Right.
He goes, you've told it in numerous different places. Why don't you record it and just have it dictated into paper?
Yeah.
As we bring up the Savon podcast again, you don't know Savon personally.
No,
nobody is. I watched it from the back, and I saw you do it, Corey. It was riveting. So you saying you don't have the emotion? Holy shit!
Because I do feel like I am a good storyteller. Like,
you are.
I can tell my
that's what
story.
I'm saying. You had what's Beaver? What's his name?
Yeah. The look on his face.
I literally made a meme of him because he was just like the whole time staring at like, holy shit.
You made that meme and sent it to me, and his face on the mirror was like,
and what was next? I'm like, you had everybody riveted.
Yeah.
So there's a story, and you're a storyteller. So
yeah. So
that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there, and I was talking to Carrie, and she was like, "What's wrong?" I said, "I just feel like I'm stuck in life. Like, I've gotten to the point where I just feel like I'm stuck. Like, I don't know what to do." And she's like, "What do you want to do?" And the short version of it, she tends to think I see it one way and she remembers it a little bit different, but hers is probably right. But I was like, I want to
tell you anyway.
I know she'll tell me it was. It's like, I want to open a gym. Like, it just keeps nagging at me to open a CrossFit gym. And
well, we nagged you too.
I know, you guys. You did every time I seen you.
When he left the other gym, I remember telling you that when you'd open, we'd be there.
I know. You did. And every time I ran into you, you're like, when you doing it? You didn't even tell me hi that one day. I walked in, was like, hi, Ann. She's like, when you opening your gym? I was like, easy.
He's that good of a coach.
So she's like, why don't you just go do it? Why don't you figure out what you need to do and just do it? Mm-hmm. So I went and talked to Corey because, I mean, he runs a very successful business. Yeah. And he always has been this great entrepreneur in my eyes.
And in your space.
Yeah. Basically. And what I do, right? What I want to do. And
for sure.
I went over and I talked to him just to be my mentor. Like, be my business mentor and what I need to understand. Because from the business side, I dropped out of school. I have a GED that I got in prison, right? I never went to college.
And that's phenomenal that you did that, by the way.
Well, that's honestly one of the reasons we do this. And we want to hear the story of the business owner and the person, and anybody can do it.
Yeah. Look, I have no formal training in business at all. It's just things a lot of mine's going to be trial and error and learning from people like you guys and Corey and Jake and other people that
You'll
I
screw
have
up.
are in my life. But then of course I
Trial and
will.
error.
And you have an awesome wife.
Yes. And I have an awesome wife that did go to college, that is really smart, so I get to.
She's a good sounding
And
board
she's,
too.
I
You
do. I
guys
bounce
do
it.
good, very well.
I bounce
together.
it off her sometimes, and she's like, "What about this?" And she does play devil's advocate with me a lot. And way back in our relationship, I used to take that personally until like now I don't. Now I understand it's not personal. She's doing it to help me.
Yep.
So like I have all these people to bounce things off of, and I didn't know what to do. Right. So the next day, Corey got a hold of me, and he's like, "Look," he's like, "Whatever, like, I want to help you. I want to back you and do this. What do you need?" And I just brought up.
How was that feeling?
But scared, fucking scared to death. Sorry about my language, but like
You're allowed.
Cool.
scared inside. Expectations of running a business when it's just you and I've got to go do and get and this and that is a lot. When somebody else that you consider
A mentor.
You don't let him down.
that's what it is. It's
more about him than
basically
you.
Yeah, it is. He was like, "How much do you need? I want to do this." Because I had went to my other business partner, Jake, from R&R, and was like, Corey said, "You need to talk to Jake too, because Jake has offered you already too." And I talked to him about being a mentor because he's in a whole different field.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still a very successful business owner, and he's
got a lot of leadership qualities.
exactly.
Yeah, he does.
So like I needed things from different people, right?
Mhm.
Not that they're both on the same wavelength, but they're both on different ones too at different times. So he was like, "You need to talk to Jake and bring Jake in on this if he wants in," because he'd already offered me too. So I went and seen Jake and said, "Hey, Corey's going to do this. I need to ask, do you want in too?" And Jake was like, 100%. 100% do I want in.
That's cool.
And then we ended up bringing in a third guy who had offered me to do this for me long time ago when I had first left the CrossFit gym that we had met at.
Mm-hmm.
When I had first left there, and it was in Selmo from Day No
Yeah.
I went to his restaurant and ate, and he was like, "Look, when you open the gym, I went in. I just want to help you because I don't care nothing. I
He's
just
awesome.
want here. I want to help put you on the map.
Mm-hmm.
People deserve to be where they deserve to be, and like that's where you need to be is in a gym coaching."
Mm-hmm.
So I went and talked to him, and I was like, "Look, this is what we're doing." And I went back and seen Jake and them, brought him in, and they were like, "Good. Figure everything out you need to figure out." Jake had turned me on to the lawyer that he had used when they had bought R&R. So I started working with the lawyer, figuring out everything,
Mm-hmm.
things that I had
Things you had
never
no idea.
ever heard of. Right? Like, this is what does this, and this. And I'm like, huh? Well, slow down. Like,
Where do I sign?
I don't know what any of that is.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so doing budgets and all this stuff, right? And then talking to them and making sure the percentages of the business were right, and all the way down to finding a place. Like at that point
I
in time,
remember that. That took you a long time.
it took me a long time because warehouse space was like big open warehouse space that you need to put all the equipment in and run all the classes and everything. It was really hard to find a year ago because all these people were buying them, were renting them up.
And think of it now. It's probably even worse
Yeah.
since Intel's coming in.
Yep. So, we signed all the paperwork, and they become my business partners, and I just went to work, just
Mhm.
putting it all together. I'd come and seen you guys.
Yep.
As soon as they told me they were in, my next call went to you.
Yep.
That was it. You had always told me, just when you do it, I'll fill it. Let's do it.
Yep.
And I said, okay.
And
So-
for those of you listening out here, Jason actually started his website, and we started basically the marketing campaign even before he opened up his doors.
Yep.
So
Actually, before he even announced the name of it,
Yeah, you guys are already
we kind of
putting
started
things
a little
together.
PR thing and said, "Here it comes."
Yeah.
And we used our dashboard system, Justine, to do that. So we started building his list because, as he knows now, that money is in your list. Whether they sign up with you right now, they'll sign up with you possibly later because you're constantly contacting them. So
And it's gone both ways. We've had people that are finally a year later now, or when it,
and that's the way
are
it works.
starting to go, all right,
Yep.
what's a 7-day pass, or like how does this work? And I've also had people go the other way. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Stop.
You always have that. It's hard. So, I used to take it personally too. He gets
first,
so mad
I told him the same thing. I talked to you about that a few times.
I told you quit focusing on the one guy that said no and focus on the 300.
A couple times you've had to talk me off a cliff with it.
Yeah.
Like I call you up and be like, Pat, I don't understand.
I know.
You clicked in my system and now you're telling me leave you alone. Yep. Like you did that.
It happens every day.
And you're like, look, quit that. Quit worrying about that person. Worry about the 7 over here that have told you, hey, what about this?
Well, I remember telling you, and we tell everybody this, you're going to have to, and 10 is the number I just use because it's easy and I'm dumb, but you got to talk to 10 people to get one to even say maybe.
Yep.
And then once you get 10 of those maybes, only one of them might say,
and I'm starting to figure, that's one of the business things.
It's a numbers game.
Right? That's one of the business things that I've had to figure out is, like, one of the things through CrossFit that you have to kind of dispel is the preconceived notion that what people see on YouTube through the games is that's what every CrossFit gym is going to have in it.
You're going to have that
forever. Exactly. Like you can't get away from it because CrossFit has promoted the games and the games have promoted the games so much.
That's what CrossFit is to most people.
That's what people feel CrossFit is, right? So when you talk to people, they always say, well, I can't do that. Look at what they're doing.
Or I have to get in shape first before I walk through the door.
Oh, boy. Like there's all these.
All my friends tell me that.
There's all these things that you're trying to dispel, right? Like you don't need to get in shape to do it. That's what we use it for, is to get you in shape.
Right.
Yeah.
And the people, the 40 men and 40 women and 30 teams, 120 people in it that you see online doing it are less than 1% of the amount of people that are in boxes around the world. Right.
We used to joke that when we'd watch the games, my boys would watch it, and there's whoever came in last, we would just say, because we understood it, you don't know how good you got to be.
Somebody
suck at the CrossFit games.
Somebody said that a while back on a podcast that I was listening to. Is like the last place person
is incredible.
Is still way fit.
Yep.
Like just to be last, how good you have to be last at the CrossFit games.
Yeah.
Like that's not what we do.
And that probably translates into NBA. I mean, all that. The worst player there is phenomenal.
It's still going to be better than your average playground person. So,
and the amount of work that they've done to get there.
Yep. So like we're trying to dispel that and get people to understand that that's not how it works and that's not what we do. Right. Like we're trying to create in our space. I keep talking to people when they come in. I'm trying to create independence in your life for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right. So like the new speech, like when I was just the coach and the programmer, like I didn't have to have that talk with people. Right. All I had to do was explain to you, this is what you're doing today.
Yeah.
This is how you do it. Let me fix you this way and do this. 3, 2, 1, go. Right. So I didn't have to, and I hate the word, I'm not trying to sell CrossFit. Right. I'm trying to sell your independence.
Well, and that's funny you say that. I mean, that's what CrossFit, that's how it started.
It is.
It's not there, and I don't know that it's going to go back, but that's...
I don't know. Did you see NorCal? They did it old school.
Yep, they did. They went old school.
I always think of Greg Glassman, the original CEO.
Yeah.
I mean, he always said the last day or every day that you don't squat is one day closer to the day that you can't squat. He was about function.
He was purely about it when he first started. Like all the old articles and videos that are in the journal, like it's about being able to move longer into your life. I'll never forget at my L1, the one part of my L1 that sticks in my brain the most is one of the staff members was talking about his grandma, and his grandma had to have a walker, and she was overweight, and she couldn't get up and down off the couch without doing that rocking motion, right? To be able to just rock and stand up. And he said, I don't ever want to be like that. Like I don't want that. I didn't want that for her, but that's the way she is. He said, I want to continue to do this until one day that my body my heart has just beat its last beat. I didn't happen because I had cardiovascular disease. I didn't have a chronic disease, no diabetes. Yeah. I want to be able to just one day I'll lay down and my heart will literally go, I'm tired. It's over. And I'll go to sleep and not wake up. And I've done everything to get to that point. So now getting people when they come in the door and trying to explain to them what we do is to do that same thing. I want to give you independence.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be able to get up and down off a toilet, off a chair at your table, to look all the way down to like, I don't want somebody coming in my house and later in life and having to wipe my butt.
Right.
I
Oh,
don't.
I get that. I 100% get that because I had that in the hospital. I did rely on nurses, and it's a very humbling experience, but it and you know, shout out to every nurse that's out there. They have an incredible job to do because that is a horrible feeling. But yes, I know when I got out of the hospital, I'm like, I'm not going through this. Yeah. I'm not letting this happen again.
I mean, you had a major event, but we were always into it anyway. And like our friends and family, everybody around us knows what she's gone through and how much CrossFit helped her get through that. Not one freaking person. They all look at us like we're crazy.
Look,
they can't believe that we don't eat bread, and you know they focus on all that stuff. Not any of them will go for a walk.
I'm like, don't you guys see what I did and what I used to get myself through that, and it prepared me, then it's helped me heal.
There's stories all over the place, right?
You've got tons of them at the gym.
Yeah,
of
people that have been in car wrecks and broke their neck, and they tell you the only reason you're probably not dead or paralyzed is because you did CrossFit. Yeah. You had enough muscle around your neck to do that. You did CrossFit and it saved your life. Hey,
that's that woman from
street parking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Miranda.
Ryan Stuman did the same thing. He wrecked on his ATV.
Right.
Yeah. There's stories everywhere about it. There is. They're all over the place.
So are these some of those challenges that you face when people come in to talk to you?
It's a lot of it. I hear the same things, right? All the same things. I don't know if I can do that. Mm-hmm. I should probably get in shape before I come do this. Now, I will say this. The one thing I think once people come, and I always try to invite people during like a class or the end of a class so that people can see like there's average every day. Husbands,
we're all
wives,
ages.
Husbands, wives, mothers, right? I have a 14-year-old and I have a 64-year-old. And 2 nights ago, I myself worked out right next to Susan.
Did you?
My 64-year-old. The most inspirational person that I have right now. Yeah. Like just pure at heart. Has never stepped foot in a gym. Has never had an injury, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Like, has always just been, I'm just going through life, right? So she works at R&R, and Jake and Cody were like, you need to go do this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it will help you. It will help you. It'll help you. She just passed her 1 year, her 1 year being at the gym.
Is it?
Yeah. Her goal when she come in, she had told, she come in, we talked to her. She had one goal and then ended up with a second one as time went on. Her first goal was, I want to be able to get on the ground and get back up without the use of anything, without using something to hang on to.
That's
nothing.
Huge.
Which for us just seems like...
Right? Like to me and you, it's normal for me and you. Hey, Ange, we're going to do 300 burpees. We're going to get on the ground.
That is not normal.
No, we're not.
But we're going to get on the ground. We're going to get back up. Right?
Yeah.
To me and you, that's...
We don't think twice.
We don't think twice about it, right?
But again, like I said, when I look in my circle of people I know, there are some that can't.
It would be hard for them,
Not one
right?
time.
So I go back to the story of the L1 staff that said his grandma couldn't get up and down off the couch without multiple rocks or somebody helping her. So Susan couldn't do that. She come up with a second goal as time went on, and she was there more regularly. And we've had our trials and tribulations with her. She goes to 515, so she's mainly in Kim's class. Mm-hmm. So Kim has dealt with her a lot and helped her tremendously.
I'm sure.
And the other one was, I want to be able to pick my grandkids up without thinking about it. So there's always that thought when I go pick something up, oh man, it's like, am I going to be able to do it or am I going to get hurt? Right? So not too long ago, probably 3 or 4 months ago, we were watching class workout. And me and Carrie's sitting there and we're watching class. And I said, I wonder if Susan knows she's doing that. So we've watched this over time. Used to be box step up. She'd step up on a box. She'd be next to a wall. So where she could hold the wall just to step up on a 12-inch box. Oh. Slowly, Kim moved that box.
She did.
Slowly, Kim would set her up in different places and take the box away from the wall. So where Susan was finally stepping up without holding on to something. Well, over time, watch Susan, and she gets on the ground and she gets back up after doing burpees or push-ups. Lays on the ground, gets back up, and I'm sitting there watching her, and I'm like, I wonder if she knows she's doing that. Literally dropping her feet back, putting her hands on the ground, and jumping her feet back, and pulling her feet up, pushing her hands, and standing up.
Really?
And I'm like, she's doing burpees without help of anything. This is awesome. This is great.
Cool.
So, like, in all these times you're watching things happen and you watch people develop, so she's running in the parking lot. She's jogging. She come up one day and said, hey, I need to thank you. And I was like, you need to thank me. I said, you're welcome. But I said, you're the one that does all the work. You're the one that you put in the hard work. You've come up with what your goals were, and you're doing them. She goes, well, I'm going to thank you because it's a campground this weekend. She goes, I got up out of a chair, and my grandson came running at me. And she goes, I bent down and picked him up, put him in my arms. Never, ever once did I think about it.
Awesome. That's got to make you feel.
I was like,
awesome.
That right there is what I opened the gym for.
Yeah.
Look, I love competitors. I'm a competitor myself. I do. And I'll treat them just the same as I do the 64-year-old Susan.
Yeah.
I will. And I put you all on the same floor. You'll do the same workouts in different variations, and I'll get the same results out of both of you that I'm intending to get. I opened it for the competitor to be able to do what they want to do as a sport, and for Susan to be able to do what she wants to do.
Just to live life.
So you have a lot of competitors.
I do.
I mean, you're a very competitive gym. But like you said, it's not just that.
No.
The competitor's going to find you.
Yeah.
If there's somebody within 50 miles that wants to get better at CrossFit, you're the guy to come to. They're leaving other gyms coming to you.
Yeah.
Susan had somebody tell her you should go try this out. What made her try it out compared to how many other people won't even look that far? All the people around us, you should try it. Oh, I could never do that.
So I asked her that. I'm like, what made you ultimately come? She goes, Jake and Cody wouldn't leave me alone about I'm advancing in years in my life, and I need to lengthen my lifespan of independence. And that's it. That's what it was.
You know what that tells me, Jason? This is something that we have to remind a lot of our clients all the time. You say that, and she said they kept bugging me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like emails.
It's the same thing you guys do for me.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if we were recording it. You were talking about, you saw a video of me this morning.
I did.
Of my giant head just, in there. I don't like doing that. I actually thought I would hate doing it. I like doing this.
Yeah, we love it.
But we're just talking. We're not doing anything professionally. I like talking. It's uncomfortable. I make posts about myself all the time. That is not me. But that's how I get business.
Well, see, and this is the thing I had to learn from you guys too, right? Is like, I shut down my Facebook page. I had shut my Facebook page down. All I had was Instagram, and that was posting a few things here and there on training, what we were doing. And you guys were like, first thing she said, you got to start your Facebook page back up. I was like, what? She's like, you have to. Like that's
where us old people are.
Look, I'm not, number
true.
one, I am not IT literate at all, period. I'm not. I could post something on Instagram because it's pretty self-explanatory.
After we tell you to do it.
Yeah, I know. And then they're like, Angel's like, you do this? I'm like, I'll do it.
You missed that one.
So like,
excuse me.
So I'm not, right? And I wasn't a big social media person.
I'm going to cough.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
Oops, wrong one.
So like, I wasn't that big.
Okay.
I'm really torn about it because I feel like social media used the wrong way is bad, right? Like,
social media, 80% of it
is
not
awful
good for people.
It isn't. It's brought the world to a very bad place.
We're always so far ahead of the curve doing what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And I was like there when it was cool. You got to have this. It's great. You get to stay in touch, get in front of people. Oh my God, is it?
And that's how they sold it, right? In the beginning. Like I missed a lot of things, right? Like I missed a whole bunch of things. So when I get out, that whatever the first social thing was, it was on computer.
MySpace.
That was.
I never did that.
See, That was like the first big thing, right? When I got out.
Did you have it?
I think me and Carrie had set one up, but I didn't use it. Like if I'd have jumped in and tried been doing things more, I probably would have fell into the Facebook thing more and so forth. But like you guys explained it to me in a different way. You don't have to use it for what everybody else is using it for. Yeah. We're going to use it for this. Like
I call it, I don't do much social media. It's my business media. It's media.
So
get in front of
that was the way I have to think about it now. And that's the way it's presented is like, I have it because I need it. Mm-hmm. Like it's critical for a business. Mm-hmm. It really is.
When you do use it that way, and I tell people this, it's like my Facebook got hacked 2 years ago, and long story short, it screwed up my, now when I post something, almost nobody sees it. It's just, it was all screwed up. It's fine. I don't use it for that. A little bit, I'll post some stupid stuff every now and then, but when I post business stuff, Karen.
I love Karen.
And it's hard, and it's the same way with you, and we've got another friend that just opened a new business. He was one that would post stuff and get all kinds of people liking because he's funny, and he'd make these good posts.
He's known in the area.
He would post something about his new business, and you get 2 likes. And that's what we do. I post a picture of Angie. I get 80 people saying, it's Angie. And I post a picture of, hey, here's something we did in business. It's crickets. But you have to understand, we're using it as business. Yep. People are there for entertainment. They're not there to look at my business.
Yep.
But I understand you have to be in front of the people.
But they see it. They see it, whether they like it or click on it.
And you guys had made it one point one day, right? The point you made to me was, that's the new billboard for the side of the road. Sure. When people used to drive and all they had was seeing a billboard on the side of the road as an advertisement, this is it now.
I point it out all the time. Look at the person in the passenger seat.
Yeah, what does your daughter do?
Because people
What's your daughter do? Is that's her, isn't it?
Yep. They're not looking at the billboard.
What happened?
Did you see that? Yeah.
Yep. It's like, that's what people are doing, right? Mm-hmm. They're doing this right here.
So you just drove by a couple billboards. What'd they say?
Huh?
Exactly.
Like, that's what it is. Yeah. Like, that's where we're at. And it really, it hit home about it, right? Like this. So
digital billboard.
Like, I like you guys. And that was part of the thing in the beginning too, was like, look, I've always been a true proponent of, if you don't know, then why don't you hire or bring in the person that does?
Ask somebody.
Right? So that's why I contacted you guys. Like, all right, what do I need to do, or how can we make this work? You guys know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing.
You needed to grow, and you couldn't grow too. And the hard part you were in is you couldn't grow too fast because you didn't have enough coaches to be able to handle it.
Also, a few things. One of them is like, too big of an expansion too fast could actually work in a reverse. It could. So you guys helped me, and we kind of just staged this whole thing to allow it to develop on its own. And it was actually ready to open before I was ready, before the date we had set.
Yeah.
But we couldn't because I was going to Missouri to compete.
That's right.
So but that was, I was thankful for that, because gave us time to run some classes, let the other coaches kind of fall back into coaching.
Right.
Let people kind of stir up a whole bunch of interest, right? Because let's face it, I got interest on the good side. Plus, I got some interest on the bad side too from some people.
We will talk about that.
Well, it's a good thing to talk about, because you still have haters. I still see. Yeah. We run into those people, and they just push you further because.
And they don't realize what they're doing to their own gym.
Yeah, there's so much negativity around competition, especially, not even CrossFit, just businesses of the same
tile. This is the part I don't understand.
You drive people away from your own business by bitching about it.
And this is the part I don't understand about, is like, me and you've talked about this, is like, CrossFit preaches this big, huge community, and owners at other CrossFit gyms talk about, hey, this is this, we're part of the community, and like, we're this, and this, until, right? You feel, I don't know whether it's feel threatened, or are you not comfortable with what you're doing? Like, are you not confident in it? Right? So like,
it should be something where everybody's working together.
It is hard. I know that, I think it's just the threat. It's the competition, or the fact that you're not.
Look,
there
I'm going to tell you
anymore.
right now, there's the population of Newark and Heath and the surrounding area in the valley.
Gonna blow.
I'm pretty sure there's enough people to fill everybody's
Right.
gym. Like,
Well, considering what's the obesity rate
yeah,
right now,
like
and
there's
the diabetes
more than enough
rate,
people, right? Like,
Yeah.
are you really that scared of me? You're afraid? Are you more afraid that I'm going to take people from your gym, or that I'm going to take people that won't come to your gym?
Yeah, I don't know if it's either, but
I don't know. We've always said, I mean, we're very lucky in Licking County that we have. Is Storm in Licking County? Is that
Yeah,
Licking
he's
County?
Johnstown. He's
We've
Licking
got
County.
4 gyms in Licking County?
5.
CrossFit
There's one in
gyms?
Buckeye Lake too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
There's
about
5.
that. 5 CrossFit gyms
In one in this county.
one county is
and just
phenomenal.
promoting the CrossFit lifestyle is what all of you do, and you do it more, and there's just going to be more people. That's you have more stories to tell about how some 64-year-old woman that's never been into a gym. I as a man, I don't know many men 64 years old. Of course, the younger ones aren't men anymore, but they're not going to walk in. I don't know any 64-year-old man that's going to just say, I'm going to start by going to a CrossFit gym.
Yep.
It's just amazing that some of them do that.
Yeah. And it's just, you look across the field at, like, even I know you're probably not wanting to do what the Masters athletes are doing at the games,
For sure.
but look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, CrossFit posted a video the other day of a 60-some-year-old guy that did his first muscle up.
No way.
I saw it.
Did you see it?
I did not
Where he
see
swung
that
a few
one.
times and then got his first muscle up. I'm like, you're fully capable of doing it.
Yep.
Now, is CrossFit for everybody? No, it's not for everybody, but everybody can do it.
Yeah.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
Because a good coach with a good program can make it so that you can. Yeah, it may not look exactly like what they did at the games. It may not look like exactly like what the person's doing next to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to get the same desired purpose out of you. I'm going to get the same thing.
Yep. For sure.
So, like, I think it was Coach Jason Ackerman. He runs CrossFit U. They're a business that goes in and helps you develop your affiliate, right, through coaching and business-wise. He posted something the other day. He said, even bad CrossFit is better than any other thing that's out there for you.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Like, I understand what he's saying. It is. Like, even a bad program of CrossFit is better than any other program out there to be able to extend your life and make you better.
And I will 100% say that when people get hurt, because people will always say, "Oh, you get hurt." Well, you know what? It's because we do that. Because coaches and Jason will tell you not to do something, and we just do it. There's a lot of
unforeseen things too that I can't control, right?
Right.
Like, hey, you're fully capable of doing this movement with this weight. I've watched you develop.
Yeah.
And then something happens.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I always tell people, like, I need you to talk to me. I can read your face. I can tell you're in fucking pain, right? Like, what you're doing is uncomfortable and it hurts.
Every time.
But I can't see what goes on inside you. How do your joints feel and your muscles feel? And, like, where are you at? You still have to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can speak as somebody gets hurt all the time, but
yes,
every time I get hurt, I don't blame CrossFit. It was because I wasn't doing it correctly. Like this last time, I was going too fast. I wasn't paying attention to my form, and it was more a problem that I wasn't in good shape before I started because I hadn't taken care of myself. So, you get tweaked.
Yeah. Things happen, right? Like,
but I've never blamed CrossFit. It was just, I was probably old.
Whatever. Whatever.
So what's going on now with the business? How's it going? How are you getting more people? Everybody always needs more.
Right now, a lot of it's word of mouth. A lot of people, a lot of members have helped.
That's the best way always.
Yeah, there's a lot of people have helped, talk other people into, hey, you should come try this.
It's usually a notification that you're doing things right because it works the other way too.
And I always said, and this is, you both know, like, and I have other people in the gym that know this too. And Kim is one of the biggest people about this with me, is like, I'm not one of them people. I don't take, like, I just do what I do. Like, let's just do this. This is fun, and get fit, and we'll all make good relationships. And like, that's what it's about to me. All right. Building the relationship with the people and having a family.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know my story, like, I didn't have a lot of that, right? A lot of my family were all gangsters on the street and, you know, drug dealers. So like, that was my family. So now it's like, I have my family, right? You guys are my family. Like, everyone that walks in that door is my family. So like, having them relationships, and then on the side, we're going to do a little fitness and lifting and laughing and have fun and joke. And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not one to pat myself on my back. Like, I just don't. Like, somebody tells me thank you, I don't need a thank you. You did the work.
Yeah.
I just gave you the path to do it on. That's all I did, right? I gave you the path to follow, helped correct you when it come time. Like, Kim's been on me, just say you're welcome. Just say you're welcome. I'm like, you're welcome. She's like, that was fucking authentic, wasn't it? I'm like, I'm just not that person, right? Like, I don't need thank yous. I don't need none of that. I expect a lot from my athletes. Yep. All of you. Everyone that's in there working out is an athlete to me. Yep. And I expect a lot from you. I do. Sometimes probably more than you have, but you don't know that unless I expect it, right? Some people have achieved things they never, ever thought they'd achieve because I expected it from them. Right. So when somebody does something, I get excited for them and it's great, but like, I fully expected that because you've put in the work and you're here and you're doing it. So when people come through the door, I don't think it's an issue to keep you.
Oh no, you've had almost, what's your percentage?
Oh man, it's hard to tell. I'd have to go back in the system and look. If you've come in and talked to me, I think I've only had 2 people in the last year that's come in and talked to me and not come back.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, which goes back to the numbers that I'm always harping on. You get more damn people in the door.
I know.
That's the hard part.
Because I think that's, once you're in, I can show you. Right. I can show you you're capable of doing it.
And I agree.
It's not the CrossFit Games in that gym, right? It's
we always told you, we tell everybody, you know, people buy from people.
Yes.
Once people get in and talk to you, you're going to close them.
Pretty sure. I'm almost sure.
I think now Kim does a good job too.
Yes, and now Kim gets to see people, and on the 101 side, like, she starts working with the people in that beginners in that 101 class, introducing people to slowing things down, right? Slowing it down, showing you the 9 foundational movements and some of the other things that we do, and watching and seeing and correcting you there, which gives us a better idea when you come to class how to coach you. Mm-hmm. Like, this person has a hard time with their squat, so we're going to give them a bench to squat to. You know, so we talk to each other about those things when those people are done at 101. So that way, when they come to my class, hey, they're going to be at your class at noon. This is what they look like. This is how they move. These are things you need to watch for. Okay. So when they come in, I'm already ready. I'm all right. What's today? I'm going to have you do this, this, and this because Kim talked to me about what happened in 101. Mm-hmm. They're already ready to go.
Which goes, I mean, for the people that aren't familiar with CrossFit, what you're talking about is what everybody says is scaling.
Yeah.
How many different levels can you scale for different abilities?
Infinite.
Yeah.
Infinitely.
So
I always call CrossFit infinitely scalable or infinitely modifiable. Either way, I can do it. You can't do this. I'll find something for you to do. Believe me.
So they have to understand that when they're coming in to a CrossFit gym, even if you've never touched a weight before, you can get them a good workout.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know. I was just asking.
I know.
I actually knew the answer to that question, but trying to make sure everybody else understands. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's always, when you're in there, there's almost never a time everybody's doing the exact same workout.
Very seldom.
Ever. Very
seldom. There's always somebody that has something they need different, right? Hey, I have an injury.
Past injury.
An old injury. I can't, I have a lady now that she had a full knee replacement. I'm working with her, right? I have another lady that she's out of her boot now, but she was wearing her boot because she slipped on her floor at her house. All all the way up to like a competitor that he has a hamstring injury, but he's about to leave next weekend and go compete on a high level at Masters Fitness Collective. So like all of them are doing something different, but they're all going to end up with the same intended stimulus in the end. Mm-hmm. What am I looking for to get from you for today? Or is this today leading to something bigger? And I'm trying to get you to here on this day, and this is part of that. It maybe look a little different for you and me, but we're going to get to here.
So you don't have to be fit to start. What if you're fat?
I'll make you skinny.
There you go. So you can actually start.
Now, the cool thing, business-wise, bringing business back into it.
Sorry. We're talking about CrossFit.
No.
We'd be talking about business.
And everybody knows me. That's what I talk about, and I like that. But business-wise, I mean, you've in marketing.
Yes.
And, you know, we've done different campaigns for you. We started out with just letting people know that you were going to be even opening. That was like the first campaign.
Yep.
Then we started the 7-day pass, which I think you have said now that, you know, people have spawned off of that.
So now the 7-day pass in the beginning was like, I thought it was a great idea. We caught a couple, and then all of a sudden it went stale. Like nobody was coming to get it or claim it or do this and that. Well, in the last couple of months, more people are starting to ask about it again. And I'm like,
which is funny because we stopped running that ad.
That's what cracks me up, right? What gets me is the fact that I'd said, hey, let's slow down on this for a minute, if you could, Pat, just for a minute, so I can see some things, because we had done the same thing for a year. Now I just wanted to try something different. Well, then all of a sudden, all these people start showing up like, hey, what about your 7-day pass? Can I get the 7-day pass? Can I do this? Can I do that? I'm like, where'd this come from all of a sudden?
Scarcity.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Like, sure, you sure can. And then people were bringing other people. The other part of it too is I started using it too was people started bringing their friends or their other people. Well, if you want to do your first one, like you want to do your first class, I'm going to give it to you for free. I'm going to introduce this to you. We're going to show you what's going on. And then when they're there, I just give them a 7-day.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? You don't even get today. You get from now until 7 days from now.
Well, now you've incorporated the intro class.
Yeah. And now there's the intro class. So, hey, you get your 7 days. If you still feel like you want to stay, here's the 101 class. Like you've had your little rite of passage of coming in and getting thrown to the wolves. Now we're going to slow things down and introduce some more things to you. And then you'll get put back into class.
And what do you charge for this 101 class?
It's $175 plus tax.
And that includes
your first month free.
Yep.
And I'll give you
a t-shirt.
And I give you a t-shirt.
Yep.
I give you a t-shirt too.
So it's a great way. I haven't taken Jason's, but I mean, he's given me 101. But as somebody who introduced Mark, you know, when he started, my cousin, I had already been doing it, but he was like, the other place you had to do the onboarding or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic because you slow down.
Yep.
You're not in the class at first, you know, and it just helps you understand that you can do it.
Which is really hard, right, on both people. It's hard on dumping somebody into class without doing the 101. Like, if you want to come try it out and I give it to you for free, that first class, or you come to use your 7 days, like, people have to understand, like, from our aspect of coaching, we have a whole class to coach, all these people to coach. So we will get to see you, but things will be cut back dramatically for you to keep you safe.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, understand that yours isn't going to look like theirs at all, period. Yours is going to look different. We're going to adjust times, weights, movement even, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when you get through the 101, you're right, it slows down. We teach you movement, what the movements are, how they're attached to one another, right? The 9 foundational movements are all attached to everything that we do. So Olympic lifting and gymnastics and everything. And then after slowing that down, then now you understand movement, we put you back in class. Mm-hmm. Now, we'll try to see and correct first, then you coming more often with more seeing and correcting, now we can up intensity. So there's all these little components that all tie together from dump you into class, pull you back, put you in 101, let you learn it a little bit, and then open it back up a little bit more. So.
And that's, I mean, in a perfect world, you could have, I mean, you don't have the staff. to have somebody doing that constantly. But it worked. I mean, a CrossFit gym is called a box.
Yep.
You got a box, you got a couple of coaches, and you do a lot of work in there.
Yep.
And like it says up on your website there, you change lives.
Yeah. That's what we're trying to do, right? Like my wife helped change my life, right? The way how I met her through
Yes.
You hear the story, then you'll know where I met her and all
Or
that.
saved it, however you want to talk about it.
Saved it. That's how I say it. She doesn't think
we
so,
all?
but she saved my life.
Yeah,
I know she
for
did.
sure.
I'm just going to say it right now. And I said it the other day to somebody, is like, I know what I was going to do when I got out, and it wasn't good. I'll tell you that right now. It wasn't. I'd probably dead today if it wasn't for her. We met, we married, we got to know each other before anything else. I got out, and that's the way it's been. And like, I want CrossFit added into that when we found it, right? It added into that changing lives, changing mine, and meeting all these extraordinary people that have the same, like, a lot of common interests, right? People I'd probably never met.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and things that aren't common interests. I told you in the beginning, this is what you do. It's not what I do, but I'm willing to, I want to learn a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about learning some stuff, and I'm learning still to this day.
I think you need to do a podcast with people at the gym.
I know.
You need a CrossFit Uprising podcast.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I want to change somebody else. I always said I always wanted to help rewrite their narrative.
Yeah.
I always want to help rewrite their book, right? Like, we all have a story.
Yep.
Right? And your story is your story. My story isn't any better than your story. My story is my story, though. Yours is yours. Yours is just as important to me as mine is to me, right? I just so happen to have a little different story to help use to maybe help change someone's life.
Oh,
right?
You for sure can use that for, I'm sure there are people from what you've done worse and nowhere near, but that's a roadblock for people.
Exactly.
So using it as an excuse or as a reason why they can't do it.
Yep. Well, I have and this just goes to show you what I'm looking for is, like, I had a lady come in the other day, and her brother and her sister both got sober and are doing CrossFit, are sober because of CrossFit. They got into it. Her brother's one of the ones at the Portsmouth one that was just featured in Rolling Stones. He's at that box.
Oh.
She come to me. So I tell her what it's like. I've talked to Kim where the next 101 is to get her in. And she walked outside, and I walked out to meet her and was like, look, I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. I smell cigarette smoke on you, and you're going to have a hard time if you're smoking coming in here.
Yeah.
She goes, I know. She goes, I'm trying to quit this and that. I'm like, that's great. She goes, I have to find something or I'm going to go back to using.
She said that to you?
Yep. And I'm like, I'll find out when the 101 is. I'm always felt I was built different when it come time to do something. I quit and got sober on my own. I did that. I knew what was coming. I knew what it would feel like. I'd done it before. I'm doing this. I did. I got getting sick, went through it all, got sober, and still sober to this day. I looked at her and said, I'm built different. I said, but I'm going to tell you right now, whatever it fucking takes for you not to go back to that, don't do it.
Right.
It's not fucking worth it at all. If that means coming in here just to fucking sit with me, come and do it. I don't care. That's the change I want to make, right?
Yeah.
That's the life-changing events, stopping that person from using. Cut them off before it happens.
Right.
Especially those ones are special and near and dear to my heart.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've been there.
And they got a great shot because they're asking.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I can help save this person.
Is she here yet? I mean, is she in the gym?
Not yet. She just come in and see me 2 days ago. So.
Oh, okay. So she'll go to the 101.
The addiction thing, thank God I've never had it, but it's, you did it on your own. But I mean, I think everybody, whether you have help or not, it doesn't happen until you fucking.
Well, and like I told her, I'm like,
that it's not going to happen.
She's like, I have a job and I have a partner now, and I have a stepdaughter, and I'm like, don't do it for them.
Yeah.
She goes, I know I have to do this for myself. I'm like, so you're on the right path already.
Yep.
You understand a little bit of what it takes to get sober and to stay sober right now. You just told it to me.
Yep.
Do it for yourself. So, like,
what other gym would? I'm sorry, but what other gym tells you that? Owner, Jason,
I don't know one. Let me tell you that way.
Your Planet Fitness isn't going to tell you that.
No, Planet Fitness isn't doing, Anytime Fitness isn't doing. And just to be honest, I'm almost positive in part of the other ones, they probably aren't telling that person that either.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I can say from experience, I mean, CrossFit, all of them, competitors, you get to know the people.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a community.
You become friends, no matter which one it was or is, you're still friends.
Yep.
And you know them intimately because you're suffering next to them every day.
Yep.
And that's a good way to get to know somebody.
And I'm biased. It's my community, right? It's not mine. It's my members' community. It's my culture. But excuse me, I have that energy drink's good.
Yeah.
I have this great mixture of people. I do.
You do.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I have some hard-headed competitive boys.
Yes, you do.
Fucking leaderboard on themselves, and they bash each other in every day, right? And they text about their workouts, and
one of them.
Hey, what's up? It's right there, right? I have law enforcement.
Yeah.
I have firemen. I have moms. I have dads. Right? I have a whole great big mixture of people that and it works.
And I know, because it's my gym, they're from everywhere.
Everywhere.
They're
every walk of life.
Just every part of town.
Yep.
It's not just a local thing.
It's not. They're from everywhere. I had one of them tell me once, actually it's in the review. She drives past 2 of them to come to my gym.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
It says something, right? Like, I should. But like I said, don't pat my back. I just want to do. I want people to change. I want people to experience change. It's your whole life and outlook and everything that you do. I was telling somebody the other day, if we can control in a controlled environment, get you to think a different way when you're under pressure.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
When things are going bad at minute 15 in the gym and you shift your mindset from this sucks to fucking I'm finishing.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind just changed, right? And that's in a controlled environment. When you get out in the real world and you can be like, something went wrong, right? Or something through work is going shitty, or my kids, or my just everyday life. I had to deal with somebody on the streets.
Tell your story about
for me, it was in the hospital.
Yeah.
With a test a particular test. We won't go into details, but it hurt, and I wasn't able to have any pain medication for it. I had to be completely awake and completely aware. And so I remember laying there. I told him when I got out, I'm like, they told me it was 20 minutes. I can do this. It's just like a CrossFit workout. I just have to watch the clock, and it's 20 minutes. I can do this. I can focus on the fact that I can do this. I've done all these workouts for 20 minutes. I can do it.
Right.
And just for that, that wasn't physical. That was a mental thing. And it got me through.
Yeah.
And people just don't get it. They really don't get it.
And isn't that part of, we call it training, right?
Yeah. It's
part of
mental
training. It's part of training. It's like if we put it inside of the gym, right? There's all kinds of things going on. We just make you better for everyday life, right? But at the same time, like I said, I'm trying to extend your life, make it better. Every part of that. It just, I'm controlling what you're thinking now to worrying about how you're going to be in 15, 20 years.
Didn't you? And look at Carrie.
Yeah.
Carrie, how many months was she
She had a full-on neck surgery, right? Had a fusion. Took what she could do.
And she was back so fast.
Another one. She had a surgery that had nothing to do with CrossFit. Look, we're talking about injuries and stuff. Nothing to do with CrossFit. Probably had to do with just old injuries from car wrecks and stuff.
Yeah.
And went through the surgery. Actually, to the doctor telling her that she had some of the hardest bones he'd ever had to put screws in.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Contributed to weightlifting. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Aging, and especially aging females, lift weights.
Yep.
Load-bearing exercises. You have to harden your bones.
Yep.
You should. Period. Not only...
But can't you just take a pill for that?
Yeah, sure. Fuck, I guess you can't, Pat. No, you can't.
I think most people think you can.
Powder.
There's just, I mean, there's all kinds of things. We can go into all kinds of things with this, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's just, you can't, there's nothing, there's no substitute for it, period. There isn't. There's no substitute for you lifting weights, you're pushing osteoporosis off. And how we age with determine of how much muscle mass you have, it's all going to correlate into everything, right? The more muscle mass you have, the longer you hold on to it, the better aging you're going to have.
And I will tell you, as you get older, you lose it way faster.
You do.
Because when I was sick, I lost it fast. Even now, I have a hurt hip or whatever it is that's keeping me from doing squats and doing the box jumps and the things I love to do. And I'm noticing I'm losing my muscle quickly, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it.
But it comes back fast.
It'll come back fast. But of course, I'm modifying.
Of course.
So to that young, or maybe not young, but the coach out there, athlete, whoever, that's thinking about like you were 10, 12 years ago, but I just want to have a gym. What do you tell them?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I used to think it was so far off, right? I used to think like there ain't no way. Like I can't take that step. Nothing. Look, honestly, full disclosure, I've had a pretty blessed way of bringing this around, right?
Yeah.
Having the backers and the mentors that I have, and having your guys' help, and everybody that's had a hand in this, and all the way down to just telling your family member to come try it, and they've come tried it and they've joined.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had a pretty blessed existence, right, in this business world. Just take your chance.
Yeah.
Do it. Look, there's all kinds, like as much as you're tied to it, there's also this little bit of freedom, right? To this. Like I get to do what I love every day.
Isn't it fun?
I get to open a door at 4:30 in the morning
Crazy.
and not hate walking in there.
Yeah.
Right? To where I want to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no substitute to that.
Yeah.
There's no substitute to that freedom, to that being
That's
able
how
to
we feel.
I go to bed at night knowing I'm getting up to go coach.
Yep.
And I don't hate it. Like I get out of bed and I sit there for a second. The things I said, always done. Thankful for where I'm sitting right now. And I'm thankful for that lady laying right there. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll get up and get my day started. And I don't hate it. Not one bit.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. I love the fact that there's 15 people that walk in that gym at 5 a.m. and are looking to get better at my place. Do it. Just have a plan and do it.
And that comes back around to the sales and marketing part that we talk about.
Yep.
Is if you have that gift of what you do, I don't care if it's a gym or if you sell anything, you know, if it is in you that you're going to make somebody else's life better, you're obligated to put your face out and talk about it and sell it, because you need to get them in there to change their lives.
And you are obligated to talk about it on social media, and don't ever be afraid to talk about your business.
And those are things that me and you've just talked about recently is what should I be doing now? The more advanced things.
Yeah.
What should I need to put my big head
in
front of the camera.
And, I mean,
and not down like this, Jason.
Right? Like, hey, I'm going live, guys.
Yep. It's hard because what you do actually does change lives. But anybody that, you know, you've got a skill that you're trying to get people to buy from you.
Yeah.
You know, you're in business to make money.
Yeah.
You have to feel that you are obligated to get them to buy it from you. That's what we do. We know we can help businesses. We put our face out there to try to get them to let us help them.
Yeah.
You know, it's a weird way to think about it.
It is.
And you feel like, you know, especially when you think I'm not an extrovert, you feel like you're bragging.
And I don't want to be.
But you have to be.
Right? I don't want to brag. I'm not a bragger.
But
like
you're
that.
not. You're trying. You know you can help them.
I know.
And that's what
your success stories are. It's not bragging.
That's what marketing is. You have to tell people what you do, and what you do can save lives. So you got to tell people, and you do. I'm not saying you don't, but that's the mindset.
But I could do more.
Everybody can.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I know that. And I know that talking to her, she comes in a noon class and we'll sit afterwards and I'll bring something up and she'll be like, I'll be like, yes, ma'am.
That's literally our life. It doesn't even have to be our client. We're like, he should be doing this. I can't believe I'm not doing that.
And then I know, right? Like from talking to you guys, I'll get on the phone with you and you'll sell me something. And I know I should.
Yep.
Right. I know. Having Mariah in place was a huge help. Huge. She puts all the posts out. And, like
she's a positive force.
Oh my God. Like I went with somebody that was younger. That does use social media, right?
Yes.
Comes from the social media era, I call it. Super bubbly and liked and like energetic and you know what I mean? Like
positive.
Yes.
Right. Yep. Puts herself right in it.
And she's been through it. She lost a shit ton of weight.
Yep. Who also used CrossFit to save her life.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. That's
so
the
like
perfect
she can put out there what it's like to have your life saved, right? By CrossFit or by the methodology or by.
And she also dispels that myth of you have to be in shape to start because she wasn't. You know, she started
used it to get into shape, which is what people should be thinking about.
She just started.
Yep.
Both her and Kim. I mean, and Mariah's a coach now too.
Yep.
And then Kim started out the same way. I know she didn't have as much weight to lose, but I remember when she started.
I remember when she come in and
with
started.
Her husband.
I remember we told a story not too long ago, and she was like, she's like, I come in because of Scott Weatherholt. Scott Weatherholt's the one that got Kim started.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So she came and she said, you were in there yelling around. She goes, you were yelling. And she's like, I don't know about this.
Which I can't believe she says that now.
But she said, like, then I realized that you're really not that bad. She goes, that's just you. And she goes, like, you took. This is it. She goes, I took to you and you took to me and this is where we're at. Right. So she always, she'd always told me, like, wherever you end up, she goes, just know that I have your back and I'll be there. And you guys hadn't announced very long for me. Like
she was there.
She's like, hey, I know a coach. If you need one. I'm like, well, I do. I said, if you're coming, it's your choice. I said, I'm not poaching anybody. I'm just, you want to come, you're coming. She's like, that's no question. So yeah, it was her. And then I'd went and talked to Josh.
Yeah.
Because he had been a coach for years too at different places. And he had always said that if I ever did it, he'd be there. And I was like, you ready to do this? And he's like, yep, let's roll. And then we had brought Mariah on too. And then Megan had come back and she's just kind of she likes to fill in and do everything, when we need some help. So
sounds easy.
Yeah, no, not at all, Pat. Not one bit. Like just things you have to worry about. Like now when I'm a year in, like I'm starting to think about other things.
So what is next?
Figure out budgets, like things business wise, right? Like things I'm not good at.
What was your year date?
August 25th.
Oh, so just barely.
Yeah, just over. So, and like trying to figure out all those things, like trying to narrow things down, right? Like things were pretty wide open for a while because I didn't know what I needed. Right. And as we grow, like I always go back to like the little things, like as we grow and we get more people, I had to buy more toilet paper.
Those are the things you think about.
Well, yeah, like now I have to buy more toilet paper, right? I can't rely on that.
Budget has shifted.
It has, and it shifts, right? So I'm trying to figure those things out.
Hey, at least you aren't fighting for it. At least we're not during that time now.
So yeah, I can go get it now, right? Yeah. So you try to figure. I just think all the way down to those things, right? I'm trying to figure out like buying people like those drinks. So like, how much of it should I buy every month? Because it's cheaper when you do a subscription. But like sometimes you sell more than you do others, so you have to jump in and buy an extra case here and there, and like just figuring out where the money turns and what turns it, right? So programming and coaching wise, we're
automatic.
We're golden. That's what I've done, right? I had to read notes and see where people are, and I get to see everybody, so I get to know what direction we're taking the programming and like where are we going. And then having everyone understand, like, majority of it is constantly varied, and it's
a constantly varied business.
It is, right? So like it is constantly varied, and it is, but it's controlled chaos, right? I don't just throw shit at you just to throw it at you.
Right.
There's a purpose behind
a reason.
it, and there's a reason it leads you down this road, and you may not see it now, but all those kettlebell swings that you did for so long, like, why are we doing them again?
I think Katie and I always ask you, all right, what's the purpose of this?
What's the burpees for? Like, why do you do burpees twice this week? Like, it's leading to something. Don't worry. Like, I'm leading you up. Well, shit, there's 300. That's why we did all the burpees. So like, there's always a purpose, right? So it always, that takes up a little more time, but not as much as like some people think, because I've done it for so long. So I get to see things, right? And it's not always perfect. Believe me, I still make tons of mistakes, and I still have to change things the morning of when I walk in and rewrite it on the board, and I look at it and go, ooh,
that's owning your own business.
What was that? So, and then from the business side, it comes down to that too. Things you either like, everyone that come over from other gyms or was at home, they were all like, we want open gym. We want open gym. We want open gym. I'm like, all right, so I'm going to run this 4, 5:15 and 6:30 class. I give them little buffers in there at the end for people to come and go, so that we're not yelling around telling people get out, be quiet. It lets people intermix from different classes, get to know each other, and coach a break too, right? While putting open gym at 7:30 at night.
Nobody comes.
I didn't have one use of that 7:30 open gym. You don't need it.
No.
I'll make sure you get the programming is just right. You won't need that open gym.
Right.
And it wasn't used. Right. So a business decision, I had to cut that out.
Yeah.
Right. Another one was opening a punch card up. Right. Open a punch card up. A bunch of people buy a punch card. I didn't expect that. I expected a couple people that had discussed a punch card.
Really?
Yeah. At one point in time, I had like 9 people using punch cards. Right. So a few things. Tend to adjust the price on the punch card because it was a steal, right? So adjusted the price to make it more equivalent to what people are paying for a monthly membership. And then the other one is talking to those people about, like, you bought a punch card and then it's not even a month, you're buying another one.
Yeah.
Like,
why don't you just join?
So a few of the, I don't have one, I have one person on punch card now.
Oh, that's
and
good.
it's legitly, he can only come twice a week.
Right.
So like, figuring that out from a business side, right? It took me talking to Corey about it, right? Figure things out. He'd give me a few ideas on bringing some other people in too. So I'd done that here last couple months, like just trying to figure business out. Like I said, I'm not a business guy. Never have been. The only business I ever run was I sold drugs.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's
that
really
was easy.
It's all business and marketing, and it's all made up. Everything's made up. Yeah. You know, your pricing's made up. You know, there's a budget, things that you got to have to cover, but you know, you just make things up, and if it doesn't work, you make something new up.
Well, and the next one, and I'm just going to say this now. I got to send the email out to everybody, but the next one is the 9:15 Saturday class. There was nobody there this last week, and normally it's only one
Everybody
or two person. They all come at 8. Yeah. So we're going to cut that out.
Yeah.
Like we're going to,
one big giant class.
Just make one giant class at 8 o'clock.
Fun
It'll
that way.
also kind of allow me to open up a little bit more of that time in that class too now.
Oh.
So maybe instead of an hour-long class, maybe we have an hour and 15-minute class.
Great.
You know what I mean? So like I can spend an extra 15 minutes with that class. We can maybe do a little bit of extra work.
Because Saturdays are fun.
Right? And everyone, look, if I didn't do a partner WOD on Saturday, how many people would be yelling at me? Bunch.
Me.
Mike. Like Mike's like, look, part of my membership payment is that I get a partner WOD on Saturday. Yeah. He told me one time. I'm like, all right, geez. And I realized that everyone does like them.
Yeah.
It is
so
fun.
Like that's another business decision I have to make, right? Like I have to make that one. And the other one that's going to eventually happen is upping rates. Like eventually I have to, because for one, AEP,
everything's going up.
Up by 28%, up my electricity by 28%,
Jeez.
right? I'm like, what?
Yeah. So it's going to have to go up a little bit.
I have to, you're right. Like I love what I do. And money would it will come.
Yep.
And Corey and Jake said the same thing. It's the byproduct of what you do and do it
right.
Do it good and do it right. But I still have to have it to be able to operate. Right. Still have to. And I'm not in it to lose it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
We tell people you're in business to make money. That everybody wants a discount and your friends want it. I'm like, I literally do.
So I read this thing
money.
not too long ago. Right. And I think it was from Ackerman. It was like, you should not be ashamed to make money in your business. All of the people that come to your business are work 40-hour weeks, or if not more, they make money.
Yep.
Like, why should you feel ashamed to ask them for money for a service when and not make money off of it? Right.
Yep.
So like those shifts, and then I'm blessed because I didn't have that. I had backers, right? I had business partners. So I didn't have that big bank note that I have to pay back every month. So I could make CrossFit affordable for people.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with, my price had nothing to do with undercutting anybody. I didn't go look at anybody's price.
Right.
I could give a fuck what they're charging.
Right.
I did it based on operating cost of what I can operate at and make it affordable for anybody that wants to come.
Take a little bit home for yourself.
Exactly. I need people to understand I'm not doing it to make a killing. I'm not doing it to buy a new car. I'm not doing it to put, you know what I mean? None of that.
I think everybody knows that.
I'm doing it to change your life, help you change your life for the good.
But as you keep going, there ain't anything wrong with that.
No, there's not. And I had trying to run that, talking about that, the juvenile program that we're trying to get going.
Oh, that's right.
Matt Schindlendecker told me, the guy, him and Debbie, Matt said you should get paid for doing something good.
Yeah.
Don't run that program for free. You don't just let anyone in, and that's where we're at now. We're at the money deal right now with each other.
Really?
That's hard for a lot of people. People don't understand the value that they have in themselves. The service they're providing. It's either you were taught that, or especially somebody that's just starting it. Oh, I could never charge that. Nobody would ever give that to me. But yeah, they will.
The other thing is like, the other day, Kim McNichol says she had her physical, and her A1C was down.
Oh, yeah.
Man, imagine that.
Wasn't it like 5 points?
Yeah. I was like, those are the things that people don't think about you're trying to change. Look, I'm not trying to just make you have bigger muscles and move faster and be able to breathe longer, right, at a higher heart rate. We're trying to change everything. We're trying to change all of your numbers and your blood work too, right? Because guess what happens if your A1C keeps climbing?
Right.
Your cardiovascular disease, chance of cardiovascular disease goes up. Your chance of heart attack goes up.
You take more pills.
Exactly. And then they want to give you more pills for it.
Yep.
Like, I changed, like, she did the work.
That's a big thing that would be interesting to find out from everybody is how, CrossFitters, or at least at our gym, how many people take medication? How many people have gotten off of medication would be interesting.
Yeah. So, like, she came to my gym. I gave her the pathway to do the work. She's done the work, and she changed her life. Yeah, it's not a foreseeable fix, right? It's not something that I can see, though.
Yeah,
I can't see that you changed your life. No, but you will when she lives another extra 10 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she enjoys her grandkids another 10 years and watches her and enjoys life and going on vacation with her husband and everything for another 10, 15 years because she did this and lowered her A1C. And her cholesterol, right? Her bad side. Like, those are the things that people don't see that you're trying to do. That's the part that I don't think a lot of people understand is like the automatic version is well, I'm going to the gym, my number on the scale goes down, my clothes fit different, and I get skinny and I get abs.
Yeah.
It's not just that.
Right.
We're trying to blow the carbon out of your arteries. I'm trying to get rid of that shit.
Goes all back to getting that list of people if you have a business and talking to that list of people, because when people join your list by phone or chat or through a form, they're telling you, I want to get more information.
There's an interest. There's a slight interest. You taught me that in the beginning. They clicked on it, right? Which used to frustrate me. I used to call you.
I know. You'd be like, why didn't they sign up?
How many times did I call you and was like, what is going on?
Like, Jason, did I tell you how long it took me to come in? Remember?
So, like, you clicked on it, right? You were interested. And now I'm just like,
Yep.
let's just hang on. I'll see where you're at. Either you'll hit stop and not take the messages anymore, or you're going to reach out and be like, hey,
I'm ready.
how do you have any more of those 7-day passes?
Yep. And that comes, I've got a little thing I go through. It's most people. Most people don't even know you exist. The ones that do, most of them have never seen a post or an ad. And the ones that do, most of them never clicked on it. But the ones that did click on it, most of them never filled out the form.
Yeah.
The ones that filled out the form, most of them will never answer your phone call or call, and most of them won't come in, and most of them won't sign up. But the ones that do came from that first, it's just the way it is. Most of them won't, but you got to play the numbers game to get down.
And that's
to
the
the
cool
ones.
thing. We were just talking about it with a particular client of ours that we've had forever on marketing. And it's a cool thing in our business to know that what we've done actually built that business, because you did. I mean, we did with the marketing for a particular dentist. And he's now too busy. He's like booked out 7 months and he just can't keep going. And
we get fired a lot for that.
And it's a
Making
great
people too
feeling for us. It's a great feeling to know that. It's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Well,
it's helped you guys. You just helped me tremendously. I say that. So
we're still trying,
and I appreciate it. You still got obviously a lot to do.
Yeah, but it's not magic. Honestly, with the thing, just like that one she's talking about, it's consistency. We did a lot for him for a long time, and he kept doing it.
Yeah,
and eventually it snowballs into.
And it's rolled back around.
Yeah,
right. The 7-day pass went dead. Like nobody was taking it. Nobody was coming in to do it. People were coming in. They were trying it, and they were just, hey, I'm signing up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or they weren't reaching out at all. And we went through a pretty dry spell where nobody signed up. And
it'd be interesting to find out how long they've been on that list, because it's what we call the lead magnet.
Yeah.
If you have something to offer and you're more than willing to do because it's a great sales process, come in, try it.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk.
And now the 7-day pass is coming back around.
Yeah. And
like,
it's
really weird.
There.
I don't know. I don't get it. Those are the parts of the things of the business part I don't understand. It's like, why is this rolling back around all of a sudden when we stopped the campaign? Because I needed to see a few things. I wanted to see what was
take it away,
what was happening. So, what if we do put it back out? Yeah. Like, is it going to stop the 7-day pass? And I guess until you try, you don't know. But like, it is weird.
It's constant.
And those are the things of the business that are, like you said, you got to try something.
Yeah,
you can't just sit around here and it'll just happen.
No, and I think you'll find out in your business that it'll be certain times of the year things will kick in and you see and be receptive. And
right, and you do have those.
Much.
You have so much involved in this, right? You have parents that have kids and they have sports and they have all kinds of different things to do, right? People have vacations, and like talking lately to a few people is like, make it a priority, right? And they do. They like that's non-negotiable. That hour a day, regardless, may not be today's hour a day. Might have to be tomorrow because Susie had soccer practice, right? So you have to consider that. And you have people that do go missing, and you're curious about them, so you reach out to them. You're like, hey, are you all right? Is everything good? Oh yeah, we're in Florida. Yeah. Okay, so you're on vacation. Now, you're not required to tell me, obviously, but like when people do come up missing, it makes me curious, like what's going on. So you tend to reach out and you're like, well, what's happening? Is everything all right? So, and there's just a ton of it. There's a lot more to it than just, hey, I have my name on the ownership.
So, one thing I forgot to ask you though, what would you say over this past year has been your most memorable experience?
Boy, that's a good one. Which is my most memorable? I don't know if I have one. Like, Susan is a big one.
Yeah.
Susan's
neat.
huge. Susan's a really big deal to me. Like, that's.
Has she done a review yet?
Yeah. She was. I don't know about a review. She was the athlete of the month, and she's about with the moment I told her that, I thought she started to cry. And I fucking had to walk away. I'm like, she's like, why me? I'm like, because you're super fucking important here. That's why. I gotta go. I walk away, make me fucking all weird.
Allergies.
Is she in the system? Is she in Justine?
She was not because they sent her down.
Oh.
They sent her down. She just showed up.
Because, you can just ask for a review through it, Jason.
Yes, I do. I've asked a few people for them. The open was really fun.
That's right.
The
that was
open
your
at my
first
own
of my own
place instead of just being a coach somewhere and running it. Like the open, it was special.
Yeah.
It was
cool.
because the open to me through all these years has always been like, that's the pinnacle of the year, right? Like that's where fitness gets tested outside of my programming.
Yeah.
Like people do something that's not my programming to see if my programming has worked.
Oh, and how many people have come back to you recently telling you, like Matt Dustin and a couple of the people that have competed are just like,
Matt just did
like easy.
Yeah, Matt just did that.
Who says that?
Just did a competition, and he just said the other day, he was like, "Hey, I'll just let you know that competition actually felt pretty easy."
Yeah.
He's like, "We do enough in here that it didn't really feel that bad."
Yeah, and somebody just
Mike and Josh did that.
Josh did the one that was the only one that finished an RX.
Yeah,
the whole competition.
Yep, they had done that competition down in Lancaster too. We went down there to 740, and Mike and Josh were partners. And like, if you're a competitor, I always said, like, if I can get you to outsuffer the person next to you, you're going to win, right? Barring a competition that has nothing but high skill or nothing but super heavy weights. Like, if there's something suffering, I'm gonna help you achieve that, and you're gonna win. And watching them go through it and just work without thought of what they're doing. They just did the work. Like those are the moments that you're like, that's what I'm trying to achieve out of you. Right.
Yep.
And then Susan comes in and works out right next to me. Right. And I'm like, Susan, I'm going to need you to slow down today. Don't make me look bad. And we'll get done. And she's like, I just don't understand you. Like, how do you do that? I'm like, look, it's not me. I'm thinking about it. It's you over here next to me being able to do everything that is programmed on that board today.
And then some.
Right? Like those are the moments that you have. But like we can do that. We can be in the same class and we can do that. Her with just wanting to get him down off the ground and lift her grandkid up. Me, like at this moment, I just want to stay fit because I like to eat. But but like ultimately, like trying to go to the games at some point, right? So like there's and you work out side by side, and you get the same thing from each person. So the moments, I think the biggest, like some of the biggest things are just those moments, right? When it clicks.
Yeah.
People they look at you and they smile because they did. It's like, that's it. Katie Frissner kicking upside down.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, the day she kicked upside down, I thought I was going to lose my shit. I thought I'm going to fucking run out of the building, fucking hooting and hollering the day she did that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of her things she had just always wanted to do, and she did it. Like, I give you a few things to do, and you did it. Mariah getting her first pull-up.
Yeah.
Right? There's all these things that are just like, they're special. I don't know. And just there's nothing one in particular. I think it's just the whole thing.
Yeah. Yep.
So whether you're a competitor that wants to get better, this is the guy.
Yep. Or
somebody that's never been in a gym, old, out of shape, overweight, anywhere in between, how do they get a hold of you?
This is the guy.
Yeah.
The website is crossfit-uprising.com.
They can find you on Facebook.
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram.
Click the big red button up there.
And then, click the request more, fill it out, and we'll get back to you for sure. We'll find out what your goals are, what you want to let do.
And they get to try it for free. So
they do.
There's no excuse.
Look, who likes free stuff? Like, come on, come and try it out. And what's the worst that could happen?
True.
You walk out and say, I'm fucking going back to that place. I mean, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, no way, that's not for me, right? There are some people that breathing heavy, like learning to make your heart's a muscle. Like it needs to be worked out, right? You should elevate your heart rate daily. You should.
Yep.
Like it needs to be worked out. It doesn't need to be at full intensity all the time. I get that. Like that's not the point, but like it does need to elevate. For some people, that's just not it. I have a friend that she didn't like to sweat. She did CrossFit for a while. She's like, that's not for me. She's like, I don't like sweat. That's not what she does. Now she walks 100 miles a month.
Oh, wow.
Though. So like,
that's good.
Good on her, right? She found what she can do and what she will do.
Yeah.
So sometimes that isn't for everybody, right? What's the other part of that though? If you do try it, if you you might want to stay. You might want to keep doing it. You might meet some cool people, right? Might make some friends, have a new family.
Well, our story is she would never. I used to try to get her to work out when we were. I mean, this is a long time ago when we were first starting.
You tell everyone.
But this is. I think it's a common thing that people.
Is.
I mean, especially now with the crappy food and the computers, everybody's so overweight.
Yeah,
and don't want to. That's not as big of an issue. Back when we first started, when I was going to a gym, the Advantage Club days. I don't want to work out. I don't want to get too big.
Look,
how many women go do CrossFit and get too big?
It isn't a bulky issue, right?
Never. And she understands that now.
I said it though.
They think that
it's an
they
excuse.
See girls lifting weights, and it's the bodybuilder, that's juiced with testosterone.
That's excessive.
And that's the minimum percentage.
It's like I said, the 40 athletes on the male and female side that go to the games with the 30 teams, those are less than 1%.
Right.
Like they're less than 0.5%, really. Like those are minimal. If you think about the amount there's like 15,000 boxes in the world, right?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like over 15,000.
Wow.
Rising or falling?
It was on the rise. I don't know where it's at now.
Well, they had odd numbers because of all the COVID.
So let's say 14,000, right? If you have 20 members in every one of those gyms, that number, the percentage of 80, right, of the 80 athletes that are individuals and the 30, 120. So there's 200 athletes at the games.
In the world.
That go to the games out of every member, 20, and that's an average of 20 members. Look, there's boxes out there with hundreds.
Yeah.
There's thousands.
Yeah.
Right? So like, what's that percentage?
Nothing.
Like 0.002. I mean, like it's so small. So like finding that, like letting people know, that's the hardest thing, is getting people to understand that that's not what we're trying to do.
Right.
If that's what you want, we'll sit down and talk. Hey, I want to be a competitor and I want to go to the games. I'm going to have a true, honest conversation with you. Right. I made it to 36th. And I know what it took to get to 36th. I had to cut off 26 more places to make it to the games. And I know what it would have took. I wasn't willing to do it, obviously, because I didn't do it. So we're going to have an honest conversation. This is what it takes to get there. If you're willing to do that, I will help you. Right? That's one in 1,000 people will ever walk in and say that.
Right.
The other 999
Let's get better.
Want to extend their life.
Yep.
And a better life, right? I don't want somebody wiping my ass. I want to do it myself until I die.
Yep.
That's the hardest part about this business.
Yeah.
Is the
perception.
The perception of it, of what we do.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I see them females out there in their sports bras flipping tires and pulling sleds.
And that's damn fun.
Take it from a female. It's fun.
Is fun.
And I know you keep saying it, the amount of work those girls that you see on TV have done, that is their full-time job.
They get paid for it. Yeah. They have sponsors.
Professional CrossFit athletes.
They are. It's a sport. It's a legit. I can't say legit. It is a sport. They get paid for what they're doing. They do. They have sponsors that are paying for sending them free food and supplements, and they're training in certain places. And most of them are in camps that have online programming that people are paying for. So they're making money as they're working out.
Yep.
But anybody can start.
Anyone can.
Yep.
Well, that's what we're going to hope happens, because we know a lot of people that have talked about it. They just won't do it. They talk to Angie. Her family looks at her like she's insane. because
for a lot of
That's
topics,
the first rule.
I'm sure.
Look,
I was going to say that's
first rule of
exactly.
CrossFit.
I tell you I'm in CrossFit. That's exactly.
First rule of CrossFit. Talk about CrossFit.
Angie follows that rule to a T.
Second rule
Yes,
of CrossFit.
I
Talk
drink
about
the
CrossFit.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. But that's
It's
what's cool
special,
about it.
right?
Yeah.
It is like the moments that you have when you work out with people and like from just showing up and talking, right, hanging out and bullshitting with people to when you're about to throw down, right? We're about to do this. Like if you like that little bit of competitive edge in a person, and you look at them and you're like, "Let's go."
3, 2, 1,
3,
baby.
2, 1.
Mike and Josh.
Mike and Josh.
And Megan.
And Megan. Yep. Thank
Well,
you guys.
That's all I got. You got
Yeah.
anything else you want to ask? I
Nope.
appreciate you stopping by.
Oh, thank you.
We've only planned this for God knows
I know,
how
right?
long.
We've been talking
it's
about
even
it
longer than I thought it was going to be. It's not 4 hours, but
No.
we can do that. So if you want in CrossFit, you're here in Licking County area, this is the guy.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm having a blast. You guys are.
Well, let's keep it rolling.
I'm in.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.